It's time to shake and wake up the world with the best biblical talk shows from all over the world gathered in one place. ShakeandWakeRadio.com, where the truth is all that matters, and the truth will set you free. ShakeandWakeRadio.com.
This is not some soul's factory. This is long, quiet days with the Father. This is obedience. This is cold, early mornings, tired, rough hands, and hot summer days. This is quality before quantity. This is where you're not just a customer, you're a client. I don't just work for you, but with you. This is where your ideas come to life. I am Joshua Watts. I love what I do and that I'm able to use my skills to serve our Father and you. I look forward to working with you. This is Joshua Watts Leathercomb.
Defending liberty in the spirit of 1776. It's Dan Bidondi on TruthRadioShow.com. And welcome everybody to the Dan Bidondi Show. We are live here on March 9th of 2026, and all kinds of chaos and heck is going on all over the world today, guys. So no other person better to bring in to just discuss what we could do about the lawlessness in this country, about all the injustice, attack on our gun rights, attack on everything that, I mean, literally, they're attacking all our civil liberties. But please welcome, guys, Sheriff Richard Mack. He's the founder of the Constitutional Sheriff and Peace Officers Association, known as CSPOA. All the links are in the description of the video, and we'll also promote it here on the broadcast here. So, Sheriff, welcome once again back to the Dan Bidondi Show. It's been a while.
Well, thanks, Dan. Appreciate being back with you, my friend.
Absolutely, it's an honor. Okay, so if guys, he's going to discuss how important it is for a sheriff, because the thing is, we live in a blue state and most of us live in New England. We don't know too much about sheriffs. We think they're just security guards at the courthouses, which is a disgrace. I mean, these guys are the law of the land under the Constitution, and but if you live in Florida, things like that, you see sheriffs all over the place, and that's the way it should be. But I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Mack here, and give an introduction to yourself, and go with the program, man. Whatever you want to talk about.
Well, first, I want to brag about what I did with 6 other sheriffs in this nation to save the Second Amendment. Back in 1994, I started a lawsuit against the Clinton administration to save the office of sheriff and also save the Second Amendment, and also do all that by suing them on the 10th Amendment. So I was the first sheriff in American history to launch a major lawsuit against the federal government. And literally, I sued the Clintons and lived to tell about it. Now Dan, is a miracle.
That's an accomplishment right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no suicides, no nothing like that. You know?
Yeah, and I didn't get in a car accident, and I didn't commit suicide, and I never will, by the way. But the Brady Bill was a gun control scheme as pined by Justice Scalia. And this was the first time in American history. Remember, 1994, President Bill Clinton, and the Brady Bill was named after James Brady, the press secretary to Ronald Reagan during the assassination attempt on him in March of 1981. And Sarah Brady, the wife of Jim Brady, started a gun control movement called Handgun Control Incorporated, and she was a spokesman for that group. And she really got into exploiting her husband to promote more gun control laws in America. And and this is something else that you and your listeners probably don't know. I don't know. I don't think I've ever said this on your show before. There were 5 Brady bills scheduled to be passed one year after the other until by the time number 5 got passed, the Second Amendment would have been completely gutted, if not entirely destroyed
Wow.
and set aside. So Brady Bill 1 required background checks and waiting periods, and the sheriffs of this country were ordered by the federal government, by Congress and the White House, to conduct all of these background checks for them for free, without any negotiation, without any input from those of us in this country that were actually being required and commandeered. It's called, our case was called, the nickname was the anti-commandeering case, because we won saying that the federal government cannot tell us what to do. We do not work for the federal government. Can anybody in the federal government fire me? No. Can anybody in the federal government hire me? No. That's both up to the people. And we, the people, are in charge of appointing the sheriff through the election process. So Brady Bill 1 was rather innocuous in some ways, because it only required the sheriffs to do some paperwork and a background check on anybody wanting a gun. But the thing that it allowed any sheriff to make the determination as to who and who could not have a gun in his county. And if you were denied, there was no recourse. You could go yell at the sheriff or tell him you weren't going to vote for him, but that was about it. And the sheriffs of this country were never allowed to have that kind of power. It was never supposed to be. So anyway, I through the Gun Owners of America, they told me about the other 4, and it was real easy to figure out, because 2 weeks after I filed on number 1, and at this point I was alone. I was completely alone. There was no other sheriff. There was no other support except the governor of Arizona, Fife Symington. He really supported me, but my own county commissioners and county attorney did not. And so that's how it goes. So anyway, Brady Bill 2 was introduced by Senator Howard Metzenbaum of New York on March 14th. I filed on February 28, 1994. He introduced that one. But guess what? Because Brady Bill 1 was in litigation, Brady Bill 2 never made it out of committee. And after we won, Brady Bills 2, 3, 4, and 5 all died. And half of number 1 died. And so 7 sheriffs, yours truly, and the 6 other sheriffs who joined me in this fight and joined me in this lawsuit, we did more to save the Second Amendment, 7 sheriffs, than all the gun rights groups put together for the last 100 years. We stopped a movement in Washington, D.C. and in Congress. We stopped the Brady Bill movement. And so I am proud of that. And I would do it again in a New York minute. And we won. Everybody needs to understand. This is the first time in history sheriffs sued the federal government and won a case at the United States Supreme Court. And I have in my hand a copy of the Supreme Court case, but everybody needs to get to my website and order these. If you want to do something for state sovereignty, if you want to do something to define the lines of federalism, and if you want to see one of the most powerful 10th Amendment decision in the history of America, and if you want to see one of the most important decisions in the history of America, you need to Google Mack v. U.S. or Prince. Prince was the sheriff. Sheriff Prince and I ended up at the Supreme Court. So Printz. When you Google Mack v. U.S., Prince v. U.S. will come up also. And go to our website though and order these cases, the Supreme Court case, these little booklets, they fit in your shirt pocket. Very small. You can read it in 10 minutes, but you really want to absorb this case and what Scalia said about this. And at one point, he quoted the New York v. U.S. case, and he said this: "We have held, however, that state legislatures are not subject to federal direction." Well, it ended up that they said, or any of the political subdivisions, which would be the counties and cities and school boards. And they are not, and we are not subject to federal direction. So uh, this is really a case for uh, diminishing the role and power of the federal government. And man, oh man, it is a powerful, powerful case. And I highly recommend it to everybody. Go to cspoa.org. C as in Charlie, S as in Sam, P as in Paul, O as in Ocean, A as in Adam. cspoa.org. Become a member of the CSPOA posse and order these books. And my other book, I have actually 7 books. And then the best book in the country about sheriffs, The County Sheriff, America's Last Hope. And that becomes truer every day, Dan.
Absolutely. And as a gun owner and a gun rights advocate for the state of Rhode Island, I want to personally thank you for your work. I mean, I didn't even realize there was 5 of these bills. That's crazy. And right here in Rhode Island, man, I don't know if you heard what's going on in Rhode Island. So last year they pushed out no more assault weapons, buying or selling. But you could keep your guns. We're not going after your guns. You could keep them, but you can't buy them after July of 2026. So now what they did, after they promised we're not taking your guns, they just reintroduced an amendment to this legislation to say, no, all right, now what we're going to do is we just added one word to the bill: possession. So as of, if this bill passes, as of 2026 of December 31st, we, the gun owners, the grandfather people, we will not be able to own our weapons. We will be convicted criminals. And this is like the tyranny, the treason that's going on right here in the state of Rhode Island. And I am so happy for people like yourself, and because it shows we can fight this thing. We can have victories with this, but it takes a lot of people to stand up. It takes people out there, everybody, to take their part in standing up for this. And it was funny, too, because 2 years ago I was at one of the gun legislations at the State House, and it was a deputy sheriff here in Rhode Island. She was a fire starter. She was awesome. She goes, if I was a sheriff right now, I would deputize every one of you and march in there and arrest every one of those senators. You know what I mean? That was great. But I
See,
tried
that's
to,
what we want.
Yep,
We want sheriffs to do that a lot more. We want sheriffs to form standing posses. And in other words, a Minuteman organization where he can call citizens to help him keep the peace in the county.
That's what we need. We really need that to,
Yeah, we help train in that. We absolutely do. But folks, if you become a member of the CSPOA posse, it does cost $11 a month. And so, that would probably be what, 2 beers or one 6-pack a month or a couple of coffees. Folks, this is the holy cause of liberty. And we need constitutional sheriffs today more than we ever did. And I started the entire constitutional sheriff movement. And if you join our posse, then we train every Wednesday, and we train you how to work with your sheriff and how to be ready to help your sheriff, and how the CSPOA is actually there to create a relationship between sheriffs and county commissioners and other public officials and cops with we the people. And Jefferson warned us that the price of liberty is eternal vigilance. And he was talking to you and me. He was talking to us. He wasn't talking to government. He was talking to us. And we have to be involved in the process of securing liberty. And if we don't, it's not going to happen. So we have given you an opportunity on a silver platter to join us in this holy cause of liberty and join a movement that is both peaceful and effective. And that's the CSPOA. And we've got proof after proof after proof where sheriffs who stood against federal agents have won every single time. I did it. I'm not talking about the Supreme Court case. I did it when the Army Corps of Engineers and EPA came in and threatened to arrest the county commissioners and threatened to arrest the maintenance people on a bridge that washed out in the northeast part of the town of the county, Graham County, Arizona. That's where I was sheriff in the 90s. And look, the sheriff isn't in charge of fixing bridges. Okay, I know that, and I wasn't. But when they threatened to arrest our workers and our county commissioners and charge us a fine of $35,000 a day, then I called them in and I said, look, you guys, I get along with everybody, but you're not arresting anybody in my county. You have no authority to do that. You're not police, and you have no authority here in this county. And I didn't give you, and I'm not going to. Well, they left and never came back, and we fixed the bridge, and everything was fine because finally, after they dragged their feet for 9 months on this stupid thing, we finally just told them to get lost. We fixed the bridge, the EPA and Army Corps of Engineers notwithstanding, and we served the people in our community. And that's how it's supposed to be no matter what the issue is. And lots of sheriffs have stood against gun control and have protected the Second Amendment. Not just us, the original 7 on this case, but sheriffs before then and since then have told the federal government, we're not going to tolerate you coming in to our counties and trying to make criminals out of law-abiding citizens and law-abiding gun owners. And that's because sheriffs have stood in the way and interposed and intervened on behalf of the American people.
Absolutely. And I was looking in the internet here. So even the AI is saying that sheriffs across the United States have stood to protect the Second Amendment rights by refusing to enforce what they deem, which is true, unconstitutional gun control. It mentions your name, right. Sheriff Richard Mack of Missouri, sheriffs also, and also led by Chris Degas and individual sheriffs like Justin Oliver of Brown County. So many sheriffs across the nation. And, during my news broadcasts over the years, I don't know how many reports I showed, videos from sheriffs that say, you know what, we're going to arm our people here. We're going to, you come down the streets, we're going to defend our Second Amendment. And that's during Obama's administration.
Dan, by the way, are we on film or just audio?
Both video and.
Oh, both. Okay.
Yep.
Because you're not moving. So you've got the advantage of me.
Oh, yeah, the video, I guess, the system I'm using, the video takes up my video for the live broadcast, so you won't be able to see me unless you look in the monitor.
Yeah, okay, no problem. Well, I can see me and I can see a picture of you, but I don't see you moving. But anyway, I love where we're going with this because the Second Amendment is so fundamental to American idealism and to individual liberty. And the government cannot tell me how many guns I can own. They cannot tell me how much ammunition I can have. And they can't tell me I can't own those mean, ugly guns. And how I keep and bear arms is up to me, not to government. And one of the greatest abominations that ever has been established or set apart in our country is that we have the Second Amendment, which makes gun control illegal. Mm-hmm. Gun control is against the law in the United States. So what does the Congress do? They form a national bureaucracy called the BATF, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. And they have them monitoring gun ownership by American citizens on a daily basis. How we ever came to that, I'll never know. But another abomination, obviously, is that taxpayers have had to foot the bill to keep Planned Parenthood going. And it's this kind of insanity in Washington, D.C. that makes all of us realize that the corruption of Washington, D.C. is just completely out of control.
Absolutely. I've been to several rallies, same people, mind you, right, that advocating for gun control, all the children, but they're there the next week promoting abortion. I mean, 75 million last year, 2025, 75 million children died from the hands of abortion. But yet, we're going to stop guns because guns are bad. And the cause of death is, it's not even in the top 100. in this country. And I mean, we're not saying it's not bad, but it's mostly criminals using, in gun-free zones. That's where it happens, or unless you have a dress on, or yelling Ali Akbar, whatever the case. But I mean, it's disgusting. And but you want to blame the guns, but car accidents kill more, drunk drivers kill more, cigarettes kill more, vaping kills more.
Yep.
But yeah, let's go after the guns. And why is that? Because anybody who knows history, the first thing a communist dictator would do is disarm the people in the name of safety, quote unquote. And Benjamin Franklin said, anybody who would give up their essential liberties to attain any kind of security, you'll get or deserve neither. And you don't deserve it if you sit there and say, oh, we need to give our guns up for our safety. No, if you have a gun, you have safety. You have a right. I mean, you could defend me. I get the power. My whole family knows how to shoot. We got the ability and power to defend ourselves and our neighbors. And if, God forbid, anything goes on, you know what I mean? So my son, 14 years old, knows how to shoot. And so we teach strict firearm safety. And the other thing, Sheriff, that really aggravates the heck out of me, they'll go after the Gun Owners Association, NRA. Oh, they're bad people. But, I tell them, it's like, name one GOA member or NRA member ever in history, almost 10 million members in history, has ever shot up a school or nothing. You won't find one. But yet you'll find people with dresses on or screaming Ali Akbar lately. Here in Rhode Island, we had 2 mass shootings by these people. And, the same left who call for gun control. Go figure, right?
Crazy leftists do it all the time.
Yep.
Yeah. It's all so bass backwards, Dan. But yeah, it just shows how far off the beaten path, the constitutional path you can get when the mainstream media support what they're doing.
Oh yeah, they'll make a bust.
And they're part of the problem.
A guy got pulled over not too long ago here in Rhode Island, and he had a high-capacity magazine on him, and they arrested him and put him in the media as if he was the same kind of a terrorist. You know what I mean? It was ridiculous. And the media plays a big role in this anti-gun campaign. I confront them all the time at the State House. It's disgusting.
And you live in Rhode Island? That's right.
Oh,
huh?
yep.
Well, Rhode Island, I've never done a presentation in Rhode Island.
Not yet, anyway.
You got to get me out to Rhode Island, man.
Well, I got a good friend. She's running for governor here in Rhode Island, and she's got a real good chance of winning. Elaine,
well, tell her I'll come stump for her. Tell her I'll come and campaign for her. Or
absolutely.
Speak at a rally for her.
Absolutely, and I'm going to pass your information to, we had a big rally, Rhode Island First rally. We had General Flynn down here and a bunch of other people. And I
want to do that, you bet. General Flynn and I are very good friends.
Oh, nice. I'll definitely promote your stuff to the, because I work with the Republican Party and the independents here in Rhode Island to try to, save our gun rates and everything else. So I'll definitely put your information out there to get you at these rallies because we need you here in Rhode Island. And even Randy Swanson, my buddy there, from Oath Keepers, he wanted to bring you out here at one point too.
Yeah, I would love to do that because there's only 2 states where I haven't done presentations: Vermont and Rhode Island.
Oh,
so
gonna make that happen then.
Yeah, I would love to do it. And Alaska was the last state of the 50. I've been to all 50 states, and Rhode Island I was just driving through as we went to either coming home or going to Boston from New York. So we just made a pit stop in Rhode Island, but I can honestly say I've been there. And but of the 50 states, Alaska was the last one, and very exciting. I love America. I love each state, and they're all so unique and beautiful. And but I have to tell you, my favorite is probably the most liberal, and that's Hawaii. That's my favorite state.
Yeah, it's inspiring. I can't even speak today. Inspiring to have people like yourself out there who are law enforcement and everything else that are fighting for our Second Amendment. So, guys, don't give up hope. I know we're overwhelmed in these liberal states with all these bills that are constantly attacking us. But like I say all the time, we need to keep fighting. You know what I mean? And resistance is victory, and we're going to have victory one way or another, So, like That's I say, right. By pen or force, and hopefully I pray to God it never happens at all. But by pen or force, we need to keep our civil liberties. And because things, they take your gun rights. Look what's in Rhode Island. A guy the other day, he posted on, there was like X, saying that anybody comes to take my guns, you got to get the bullets first. The state police kicked his door in, and he did nothing wrong. Oh, he's got assault weapons. He's got high-capacity magazine guns. He's got magazines, I'm sorry. He's got ghost guns and everything else as if they're illegal. You know what I mean? They made a terrorist out of this guy because he posted, and it's not God-given right. Anybody comes to take our civil liberties, we're going to defend it. You know what I mean? I took an oath on the Constitution, so did the sheriff here. We took an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Keyword domestic, because that's our biggest enemy right now. It's disgusting.
Yeah, well, it's got to be though that the American people know that they have to be involved in the process, in the holy cause of liberty, as Patrick Henry called it. So Jefferson knew what he was talking about. We cannot be ignorant and free, and we the people have got to be involved in the holy cause of liberty. That's why the first three words of the Constitution are "we the people," and we're in charge of this government. And it's not just because we vote every other year. It's because we are actively involved. And another thing that he warned us about is holding their feet to the fire, and be very careful of whoever approaches this jewel, he called it, and that is the ownership of our country, the ownership of our government. And Washington said that government was but a necessary evil, because controlling others is something that comes from evil. But it should be very limited, and that's what the Constitution was designed to do. Was designed by our founders to make sure that government stayed off our backs and out of our lives. Now look what we have. We're run by a bunch of bureaucratic Gestapo agents. Probably the worst one, even worse than the BATF, is the IRS. And so, folks, we've got to start building these defenses county by county and state by state. And the best way to protect the Second Amendment is with we the people working and standing next to a constitutional sheriff who makes and puts the federal government on notice: you are not going to confiscate guns in my county. And then he stands in the way. He's not challenging anyone to a fight. He just simply puts himself in the way. And that's called interposition. He interposes on behalf of the people. And again, every one of the times that sheriffs have been involved doing these sort of things, it's ended peacefully. And that's exactly how we design it to be. But make no mistake, we will not back down. And when you have a sheriff that does that in protecting the Second Amendment, that's the most effective way, with we the people and the sheriff standing unitedly to protect the Second Amendment and, for that matter, the entire Constitution. And my Supreme Court case actually says something like that. But the Constitution, and I'm quoting again from this most powerful 10th Amendment ruling in the history of America, written by Justice Antonin Scalia. And he said this: "But the Constitution protects us from our own best intentions." Folks, what would that have done to all the gun control laws, and what would that have done to COVID-19 mandates? If we all just knew that principle, that the Constitution protects us from good intentions. And so, yeah, I'll turn it back to you.
Absolutely,
I'm sure you got some response to that.
100%. And that's where I'm a gun rights advocate here in Rhode Island. We also stood against the mandates, and it was hell. And here's the thing in Rhode Island, right? We have our Constitution mimics the Second Amendment. Article 1, Section 22 of the Rhode Island State Constitution guarantees that the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And that's it. There's no, you have to have a permit, or you can't own over 10 rounds in your magazine. You can't own this weapon, that weapon. And as I stood before the Senate, I stood before the House, the committee members, and all these people, I said right out, listen, you are not going to tell me what I can and can't own. I will own what I want, much as I want. There's not a damn thing you're going to do about it. I mean, I'm a God-loving, law-abiding citizen of the United States of America in here in Rhode Island. And I don't break the law. My guns don't jump out of the safe and go shoot people. You know what I mean? It's like we are law-abiding citizens, and we want to stay that way. You know what I mean? We want to live in peace, but we are not going to sit here and allow you people to tell us and manipulate our constitutional rights and tell us it's only our opinion. No, it's a fact. It's written in blood, literally. The Constitution of the United States of America, the Bill of Rights are written in blood. So, you know what I mean? We need to stand by that. Say, listen, guys, we are not going to back down. Like the sheriff said, we are not backing down. And I never in my life would ever call for violence, guys. You all know me for years. But I'm going to tell you one thing. If it comes push or shove, then we're going to stand in the way. You know what I mean? We're going to defend our rights one way or another. And I hate to even anything bad to happen like that. But we're not going to back down. I'm not going to give up my gun rights. You know what I mean? And thousands of Rhode Islanders are saying the same. We don't want, any violence at all. But we're not going to back down either. We're not going to stand there and just, here you go, here's my gun. I don't think so. Like NRA says, from our cold dead hands, literally, because that's exactly how it's going to be if they try to take our firearms. And we're not going to stand for it. And I'm so happy and pleased to have sheriffs like this that come out to say, hey, we're going to defend the people. You know what I mean? That's so inspiring. And also we got a handful of good politicians here to stay at Rhode Island. We're overwhelmed by the Democrats, the progressives and everything. So we're fighting, guys, and we need your help. Get out there and get involved with the elections. Run for senator, run state senator, run for state representative. Start at the local levels, and we could actually do this. We got people here in our groups here running for governor and other offices here, the central offices here in Rhode Island, attorney general as well, to secure our liberties, because this is the last straw, guys. They pass these bills, and we don't get these good people in office, we're done. So, and again, I can't thank you enough, Sheriff, for doing what you do.
Well, that's all right. That's I'm not really a gun nut. I've never been hunting in my life, but guns, to me, have very little to do with hunting. If people want to use it for that, that's fine with me. Just make sure you bring me back some venison. I love elk and venison and antelope. But the main thing that people need to understand is that the Second Amendment is about liberty and protecting our families from the overreach of tyrannical government. And ultimately, if we have to, and I pray we never do, but our founding fathers did, they had to take up arms against our own government. And I pray that we never have to do that. But the reason the founding fathers promulgated the Second Amendment was to make sure that we, the people, would always have that capability when or if necessary. And anybody could tell you that, folks. Mm-hmm. If you just look at what they did and look at our history, the intent of the Constitution was to make sure that the abuses by King George III and the English Parliament could never be repeated again. And so the Constitution was established to make sure that the tyranny of Great Britain would never have an impact on destroying our liberty ever again. And that's why the Declaration of Independence says that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends. Well, what ends? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If any form of government becomes destructive of those ends, it is the right of the people, it is their duty to throw off such government and establish new guards. And so that's really a key to the Second Amendment. But it's all liberty. And look, I've never shot anybody. I spent 20 years in law enforcement. I never shot anybody. I never beat anybody up. I'm a very passive person. But I tell you, the purpose of the Second Amendment is to defend our homes and our liberty and our property against government. And if government becomes an enemy to the people, then so be it, because our oath actually says that. Protect the Constitution, defend it from all enemies, both foreign and domestic. So, folks, it's a warning to government. Do not exceed your authority and make sure you do your job to protect the rights of all people. So There you have
Absolutely.
it.
In other words, don't try what the British failed at. And it's right there, guys,
Yeah.
second paragraph of the Declaration of Independence. And it says right there, that gives us our authority, the people, the authority, and the Second Amendment gives us the power to do such things. And again, like
That's right.
I second what the sheriff says, we don't witness, I hope to pray to God I never have to shoot anybody in my life. I pray that
Oh,
never
yeah.
happens. You know what I mean? But we will, unfortunately, if this happens, guys, we're going to defend our rights. You know what I mean? Because here's the thing, you let them take their guns, you're dead anyway. Your kids are dead. You know what I mean? You look at what's going on all over the world, people can't defend themselves. Hundreds of people running from one person with a gun. That's ridiculous. When, those hundreds of people should turn around and say, yeah, you're not shooting nobody. You're not robbing nobody. I mean, this is where it goes, guys. Look at all these gun control states, all of them, mass shootings everywhere. There's, the cities, I'm sorry. You look at cities where it's gun friendly, you don't see mass shootings. And when they do, they get stopped by people. How many days, I could pull up reports after reports daily, how a gun-carrying citizen saved a police officer's life, stopped the robbing, thwarted the mass shooting, and carjackings and everything else. And, and it's just ridiculous that people don't see this. Then you have the communists, mothers against, they're ridiculous, moms that demand action, the Giffords and all the Connecticut people and everything else. And it is such a disgusting thing. And this would disgust me, Sheriff, what these people do. They did it here in Rhode Island. They'll bring these little precious children in. And they'll sit there, right, and exploit dead children to push gun control, the very gun control that got them killed to begin with. And we're the bad guys because we want to have guns. We're the bad guys because we want to protect our children. But yet, they care about the children, but yet, like I said, they advocate for abortion too. It makes no sense at all.
Yeah, it doesn't. And it's really scary to see how close we are to having people in office in Washington, D.C. that will promote gun control, a lot more taxes, tax spend, tax borrow and spend, tax borrow and spend. There's your Democrat Party. And I'm ashamed of the Republicans who have done excessive spending as well. We have to rein in spending. And this national debt, now we're pushing $40 trillion in debt. And that's just the actual debt. The promise of spending more money is there to where it's way over that. And so sooner or later, the Democrats are going to get back in charge. I didn't think, though, I have to be honest here, I did not think that we would survive 8 years of Barack Obama.
Oh, me and you both.
And some people say we didn't because it was his leftovers that got Trump. First of all, people wanted Trump because of Barack Obama. They were sick and tired of lying politicians, especially Barack Obama, who was one of the smoothest liars we've ever had in the White House. Him and Billy Bob. Mm-hmm. So, but with that, we have to understand that a lot of people think that Barack Obama's policies are still in place, and people pushing them, and the Democrat Party still pushing them, is still happening. And who got in the way of Trump's first term? The people who promoted and caused the pandemic known as the coronavirus or COVID-19. And so Trump really only had about a year and a half or 2 years to himself without the coronavirus. And then all of a sudden, all hell broke loose. And we need to reiterate what Scalia said in my decision. But the Constitution protects us from our own best intentions. And he even goes on and says, and it protects us, quote, from the crisis of the day. And what do we know about the Democrats? When they get back into power, they're going to create a lot more crises of the day. And that's why a constitutional sheriff is going to be absolutely vital and essential to the cause of liberty that we Americans must be a part of.
Absolutely. And if you look at Obama's administration here, who was Eric Holder, his attorney general, he said this, quoted, "What we need to do is change the way people think about guns. We need to do this every day of the week and just really brainwash the American people thinking about guns in a vastly different way." This is Attorney General from Obama. You know what I mean? Saying we need to brainwash American people that guns are bad. You know what I mean? And then you had Operation Fast and Furious. Caught red-handed selling guns to the drug cartel so they could blame the Second Amendment so they could close the gun shows down. Complete treason, and yet nothing got done about it.
And Brian Terry was a Border Patrol agent, was killed with one of those guns that Barack Obama sent to Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And again, they attack gun organizations like the GOA, NRA, and everything else to say we're bad because we teach strict firearm safety. Yeah, okay, how's that make any sense? But yeah, again, it's the leftists right now, like literally, like the last dozen shooters all been far leftists. And, it's crazy. Then they try to kill President Trump. But yeah, us gun owners are bad people. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's so backwards. The whole thing is so backwards. And that I still am looking for any place where a Democrat can tell me they get the authority to promulgate any gun control legislation. Where do you get the authority? When the state constitutions and the United States Constitution forbid gun control. And yet they still do it. And why? Because they know best, and they're here to take care of us, and they're going to take care of us come hell or high water, whether we like it or not. And all those Democrats are so nice. They're so magnanimous and kind to everyone and trying to save us all. Yeah. If you want to save us, leave me the hell alone. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's a principle of liberty too. The right to be left alone and have government leave you alone. Unless you're hurting someone else, the government has to leave you alone. Wow. Yeah. Wouldn't you love that?
Yeah. And then, again, you take away the Second Amendment, the rest goes. The First Amendment, religious liberties and within the First Amendment, then all of a sudden they control what press is, what they want to approve of. And they already tried to do that here in Rhode Island. I'm official press, and they already tried to suffocate me many times over, but failed. And and it trickles there from there. Then all of a sudden they control what you have, what your kids do. I mean, read the Communist Manifesto. Even Reagan warned us about this. In the 1900s, we had the communists come here, infiltrating churches, schools, with the DIA stuff and all this LGBT garbage and everything else, all to pollute the minds of children. So when they grow up, they could be the ones who take our guns away. You know what I mean? Things like that. And yes, people say, well, why is it all about the guns? Well, the thing is, the Second Amendment is liberty's teeth. I think it was a quote by George Washington somewhere in there that the gun rights are liberty's teeth, and where they are, because if you look at all these nations, look what they did in Australia and everywhere else. They took the gun rights away, and all of a sudden, you have the radical Islam going through these countries, like just chewing people up, pushing their way to a force. They don't have gun control. They're shooting people up and everything. And all of a sudden, just trickles from there. You lose, like every country we talked about earlier that's given up gun rights. Look what happened. Their own governments killed us. And the same thing they said to you, as to most people today, oh, our government would never do that. Well, yeah, ask the Polish.
Look at the gun confiscation they did during Hurricane Katrina.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Going door to door, taking guns, and even on boats. Stopping boats and taking guns away from Americans. And you know what? They never got them back. They never got those guns back. They never got a receipt, and the government refused to give receipts, and didn't happen. And then, of course, the NRA did a video of a lady, a 75-year-old lady, getting beat up by police because she didn't want to give up her gun. And just amazing, astonishing stuff. Oh, and by the way, I want you and your audience to know, I've written two of the best books on the Second Amendment ever. The first one was pursuant to my lawsuit and how we saved the Second Amendment, but it's called From My Cold, Dead Fingers, Why America Needs Guns. I know Charlton Heston, who I met at an NRA function once, and I got a beautiful picture with him. He said cold dead hands. I say cold dead fingers. I don't care which one you use. But folks, if you want one of the best books on the Second Amendment anywhere in the world. Get that book. Again, it's available at our website, cspoa.org. On the front cover, and I was looking for my book. I was looking for that book, and I can't find one. I guess somebody took them out of my office, and I thought I had one right here. But on the front cover, it shows my wife holding my father's old FBI snub-nose 38 special.
Yep, there
And
it is right there on the screen.
yeah. So anyway, that's there and available at my website, cspoa.org. And then the sequel to that is, so the sequel to From My Cold Dead Fingers, Why America Needs Guns, the sequel is The Magic of Gun Control. And that shows my picture on the front. And folks, that is a fun, exciting book. And you've got to get those books. From My Cold Dead Fingers and The Magic of Gun Control. So go to the website, cspoa.org, and become a member of this posse and get those books. Man, oh man.
And the link's in the
You'll love
description,
'em.
guys, and I put it in the chat room as well. Yeah, it's I mean, it's unreal, man, when you really look into this stuff. I read a book about, I forgot the name of the title, it's about the United Nations, and that's when I first started learning about the stuff and how their goal was to disarm the American people. And they always have these handgun conferences all the time, and always trying to do, right here in America. So if I was the president, I'd boot their asses right out of here. You know, it's like they're doing it every day, you know, basically they're plotting how to take guns away from Americans. And why would they want your guns? Because they want your freedoms. They want everything we have. And they don't want people, free people.
They want to be in the position of taking care of us.
Mhm.
And if we can't defend ourselves, then we have to depend on government to do it for us. And that's exactly what they want.
Mm-hmm.
They got us. Yeah. It's like food lines. If you can't feed yourself, and folks, that's another thing, you must have an independent supply of food in your home. Water and food and guns and ammo. Folks, these sleeper cells that are all across our country of Iranian terrorists, they're here, they're going to attack us, and the training that I've been privy to is actually saying something different this time. They're going to attack our grid. They're going to attack the internet and electricity and gasoline and water supply. So we use Numana Foods on our website. I highly recommend that you go to them. They've got plenty of food. Their freeze-dry foods are organic, and they last for 25 years. And I have it all over my pantry, and I also keep canned goods, canned tuna, canned chicken, canned beef, and then just all the fruits and vegetables that you can imagine that you get at the store every day, and some Campbell soups. But any of those canned goods, if you can't cook, are edible right out of the can. And so
Yeah, tuna's a good
tuna
one.
is a real good one. Tuna lasts about 2.5, 3 years, and sometimes longer. I would never throw it away. Just keep it, or do as I did when I was young. We rotated our canned goods all the time, so that we would use 2 or 3 cans of tuna, 2 or 3 cans of corn, cream corn, refried beans, and then we would just stock back up and just keep it rotating. And that's the smart way to do it, folks. I'm not trying to scare any of you. I'm just trying to let you know the terrorists are in our country. They're here.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think they're here for? To attack from within.
Mm-hmm.
And now, after we've done what we've done in Iran, you can bet your life that they're going to be coming after us. And I think they're going to try to do something different. I also think they're going to try to do something close to the 250th celebration of America.
That's what I think
So,
too. My friend's former
be
DIA of the Army, and so he's been telling me he's on ham radio, and they said they've been getting a lot of signals from Iran over here to the sleeper cells,
Yeah.
and he said the same thing you did for verbatim, just about. And I think they're gonna, the 250th anniversary and everything else, and so I think they got something planned. And so just be, like the sheriff said, don't let it panic you, but also keep your head on a swivel and be prepared to defend yourself. That's all. And be careful.
If you are prepared,
Mm-hmm.
you don't need to fear.
Mm-hmm.
And folks, every one of us need to be prepared. There's lots of other stuff you can get as well, like medical supplies and insect repellent and candles or some sort of uh, mechanism to keep warm. Make sure you have good boots and good walking shoes. And then make sure you have a plan for your children and grandchildren and your kids to make sure that if everything goes down and you're not able to drive cars and you can't communicate and the cell phones aren't working, cell towers aren't working, make sure you have a plan where you tell your children and grandchildren to meet and say whatever's closest, if it's your aunt or an uncle or your grandparent or the school, and just stay at the school until we come and get you. Or if you're close enough, walk home. And you might have to do that too.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a son-in-law here that has a basement right here in Gilbert, Arizona. His house would be the best because protection in the basement is the best protection you can have. So basements are essential to that, and storable foods, freeze-dry foods. Get those from our website, Numana Foods. You can also buy gold and silver from our website, and you can also get body align patches that help with pain. And my wife has about 8 or 9. She has really bad arthritis. She has 8 or 9 body align patches, folks. It's on the front page of our website. If you have problem with headaches or joint pain in your knees and elbows and wrists, fingers, neck, these pain patches are absolutely amazing. And I do not sell anything that I haven't tried personally and know that it works. This works, my friend. So go to cspoa.org and try out our body align pain management patches. You will love them, and my wife will not leave home without them. We go anywhere, she said, make sure you get the body align patches. And they really work, folks. So cspoa.org. And I know I've put a lot of information out there about our website, but just go to our website and explore it all. Go to shop, but on the front page, you'll see body align patches. They're worth it.
As you can see here, guys, body
Oh, by the way,
align.
how long, I've got to leave at the top of the hour.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, whatever you could give me, it's appreciated, man.
Yeah. I've got a family event I've got to get to tonight. So.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I appreciate your time, man. I mean, I'm grateful for you to come on.
Well, you've got a good show, and I love your common sense and your common sense approach to this whole thing,
Thank
and
you.
appreciate what you've done to help America and wake people up. And that's really where it's at. Podcasts are where it's at now.
Yep. And we've been trying here and around. We have rallies. We have all kinds of information awareness. We're always trying to even reach out to the deepest Democrats. But here in Rhode Island is a great thing in Rhode Island. We got probably 75% of Democrats in Rhode Island love their Second Amendment. So when we go to the State House, they have a handful of, when the people in favor for gun control, most of these people, they have to drag them in from out of state. And we still show up 6,000 people compared to their 400. And again, most Democrats love our Second Amendment. Our gun clubs here are packed of Republicans, Democrats, Independents, and we all could agree about our gun rights here in Rhode Island. It's just the progressive left here in Rhode Island, which is a few, unfortunately, but they're the ones in power in the State House. So we're trying to make that change this year, and we hope and pray that that's possible.
Well, thanks again for having me, Dan. You're a good man.
You too, brother.
Anytime you need me, let's do it. And don't forget, I want to come do a presentation in Rhode Island.
I'm going to make that happen somehow.
Okay. Thank you, man.
Hey, God bless you, Sheriff.
We'll see you soon,
Yep,
brother.
take care.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So, this is a great broadcast here. And I mean, I can't express how important it is for you to get involved somehow, and here's the thing. You do have a big help on in local elections. You get involved with the local elections, it's where it is. It's the local people that can stop these things. I got tons of friends. The other night I went to Rhode Island. Let me get to the page here. Let me give the sheriff's pages one more plug here. So the links are in the description. So here's his website. So please go check it out, guys. This guy is a patriot as they come. Here's his Facebook page, Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association, and also his Facebook page. Yeah, Facebook profile. So go check him out, guys, please. And I can't tell you enough how important it is to get involved with your local elections. And I know people say, well, it doesn't matter. It's selected, not elected. The locals are not. I've been working campaigns since I was 9 years old. At least I think it was 8, 9 years old or whatever it was. And my mom used to work for the famous mayor, Cianci, Buddy Cianci here in Rhode Island. He's mayor of Providence for a long time. Very famous man. And my mom worked for him. He's a very honorable guy. I mean, I don't care what people say about him. He's a very honorable guy. So during my course of the years, I've worked for Democrats. I worked for Republicans, independents, libertarians. I've done it all. I mean, I got a buddy in the chat room right now. He ran for Congress. I helped promote him and everything. So I worked, I can't even tell you how many different positions. State reps, state senators. I ran for state senator myself. Mayors I worked for. Congressman, my good friend Sal Cayozzo, and also some other guys where we helped, to try to get into Congress, and even president campaigns, and Congress, senators, and all this, just about everything, So I've been involved with politics a long time, and I'm very awake. I know what's going on. I've been on the inside of both of these things, okay? But I'm telling you right now, if you want to make a big, have a big help, let me just say. I'm just lost for words today. Have a big help in your community is getting involved with the local elections. I got a friend, Bobby Cortacci, a good friend of mine. He's my state representative, and I love the guy. He's awesome. So I help him out every 2 years, when he runs for office, for re-election. I help him out, and I have been helping Elaine Polino out. She's running for governor here in Rhode Island, like I said. So let me put that. So if you live in Rhode Island, guys, please support Elaine Polino. And she's a 100% Second Amendment because I'm here to protect full Second Amendment rights here in Rhode Island. And Paul Rihanna, too. I got to give him a plug, too, because he's running for governor as independent. And so we got two great people running for governor. And I think the other Republican candidate, too, he's pretty good, too. I can't bash him at all. But, but Paul Rihanna, the ones who speak out the most for our Second Amendment rights is Paul Rihanna. He's an independent candidate for governor. I helped him get on the ballot last time 4 years ago, and he's running again. And Elaine Polino, she's running for governor here in Rhode Island. So these two people would, I just pray to God that one of these two people win. And I really believe, I love my buddy Paul, but Elaine, she's got a good chance to win. And I'm so happy to be part of her campaign. She's got, if you go to any of the governor candidates, she's got the most following. She's awesome. She just comes out. She's not afraid to say it. Same with Paul, too. I mean, Paul's great with that. So, but again, you need to get involved personally with your main, I can't even talk. The politics in your area. So basically your local politics and all that. And I know, again, people need to stop saying, oh, my vote don't count. It does count. It most certainly does count in your area. For your local state representative, your local state senator, your mayor, your town councilman, they most likely does count. And so a lot of state elections too. And we understand there's election fraud, and thank God a lot of the illegals are getting deported. So that's how these Democrats stay in power. And if you really look at the maps all over the country, there's no such thing as a blue state. Every state, even California, the most liberal state supposedly, right? You can see the districts. All the districts are red. Same here in Rhode Island. Most of the districts are red. All these liberal states, most of the districts are red. It's just the key areas where they could push all the illegals into, and all the Democrats. So where they draw legislation, lines for elections and all that, for districts and everything, it's rigged. So they win all the time. But again, the illegals are getting deported, which is a good thing, and they're coming hard down on the voter fraud. So we have a good chance here in Rhode Island. And Rhode Island, we had 45% vote for Trump. That's huge in the state of Rhode Island. Huge. And so, we need to get involved. And I'm not saying necessarily always the Republicans are a good idea. No, there's some bad Republicans too. But you got to look for the person, what they stand for. And when I voted 2 years ago, I voted for 2 Democrats and then the rest Republicans. And 1 independent, because they were best for the job. And how do you know who's best for the job? Like the Bible says, you know them by the works. And the political standards, you know them by the constitutional stance. So if they stand within the confines of the Constitution, vote for them, support them. And it's easy, guys. Like, you don't have to do much. Just like spend a couple minutes and help them out. Go, election season, help them get signatures. Go work the polls. Just hold a sign from them. Let them put a sign on your yard. Things like that, simple things. And if you don't like who's running your district, run yourself. It's not hard. It's really easy, especially for a state representative or state senator. You get to represent your district within the state levels. And you have a grave effect. So if they push some communist gun control bill or some other bill that you don't like, you have the power to vote against it. And if there's enough of you, it's not going to go anywhere. So I can't express enough how important it is to get involved with your local elections. And when you talk about federal, that's another thing altogether. I'm just concentrating on your local election. Where you live, your town council, your city council. School boards are important too, because you don't want these progressives in your school boards. Get involved with the stuff, and I do all the time. I think it was like last election, I just only helped 1 person, but usually I'm gung-ho, and I'm going to be big-time gung-ho this year to help these people out, and I'm going to do everything I can because the media is a big problem. The mainstream media is a huge problem. Here in Rhode Island, we have WPRI Channel 12. They're like the fake news of Rhode Island. They claim to be Fox, but they're more like CNN, and they drown out candidates, that they don't like. It's disgusting what they do. So I'm so grateful and happy to have a platform like this to be able to voice out for these candidates who are not getting the fair shake. So just get, do what you got to do, guys. And a little money. And so here's the thing, too. Somebody said you can do so much with very little money. Exactly. And you got to understand this, because you get this all the time. Oh, if you don't have money, you don't worry about running. Don't run or whatever. It's like, that's not true. And not at all. Here's the thing. I've been around the election field since I was a kid. Nothing beats. You could have 1,000 signs. I remember one year here in Rhode Island, we had a governor, Canada, who's running for governor. He spent millions. Everywhere you looked, every corner, there was a sign of him. Billboards, TV ads. And everybody's like, this guy's a favorite to win. The polls say he was a favorite to win. He lost. Big at that. He lost by a landslide. So it doesn't matter. You don't need money to do this, especially your local area. So your area, if you want to run for state rep or state senator, it's just your district. Nothing is better than going on it, knocking at somebody's door. Hello, my name is Dan Bidondi. I just want to let you know I'm running for state senator or state representative for our area to represent you. And a handshake and everything else, you can't beat that with a 10-foot pole. You can have, and you don't even have to put a sign out. Hand them a little flyer or something. Please remember me on election day. That's it. And nothing. These people, these constituents, the people that vote, they remember these things. They remember the person that sat there and listened to them, what their grievances are. They remember these things. I had Democrats vote for me. And it's like, well, we don't really vote anything else but Democrat, but you got our vote because you sat there and listened to me. I went to stores and companies in my area and I said, what's the biggest problem? I sat down with the owners. What's the biggest problem you're facing? There are tangible taxes, this and that. I listened to them and I put that into effect. So that's all it takes. Listening. Open your ears, listening, and talk to them. That's it. That beats all the TV ads. That beats all the other stuff. And I'm glad you brought that up, bro. That beats it all. And because nothing beats a handshake and a personal communication with somebody. And then your district, it depends on the state. It's fairly not that much. It's your neighborhood, basically. And you get to represent your neighborhood in the state level. And you have a voice in the state level. So when you speak, they listen. They have to listen. So get involved. And if you don't know who they are, go look. You could go to the campaign places and look on the websites who your state rep or whatever is, your governor, whatever, and get to know who they are because it's important. Very important, because this is how you save America. And I'm going to bring some people saying, oh, that's politics, and I'm a Christian. So, well, if you're a Christian, you should be involved with politics somehow. Not saying you have to be involved, but you need to have some input. Because in this country, the United States of America, since day one, all the families went to church. All the families, even including the children, went to the town hall meetings, the city hall meetings. If the city says, oh, we're going to put a stop sign at every corner, people say, hell no, you're not going to do that. And they listened. When you have a bunch of people in that town hall to support or against something, those councilmen are going to listen. Doesn't matter how much money they're being bribed because they know their butts are going at the next election. They listen. When you got, in other words, if I was a councilman and I was, say, all right, I want to put this matter forward. I want to put red lights at every corner, right? And just using it for example. And if I have hundreds of my constituents come out and say, no, I don't think so. And you do, you're going to get voted out. I'm going to say, no, all right, I dropped that. You know what I mean? They're going to listen to you, and they do. And some stubborn ones, but they get voted out quick. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to tell you from the inside point of view, guys, that you do have a great effect in elections. You very much do. And remember, years ago, we had, it was such a great turnout. So they had this big campaign for gun control. And when they were doing things by the books back then, the last year and this year, they're trying to skate through and do things illegal. And they've been doing that. But when we were doing it fairly, we stormed the State House, about 6,500 people compared to their 400. And most of the 400 they had from other states. We had 6,500 Rhode Islanders all showing up in yellow shirts to oppose the gun control bills. And again, most of us were Republicans, Democrats, and Independents. Rhode Island's a big bipartisanship with the Second Amendment. Huge for that. So we showed up in force. It's like, no, the stacks of papers, the testimonies were like astronomical compared to theirs. So when the legislators see that, like, oh, crap, yeah, that makes them think. But lately they've been doing things illegal. And when bills fail, they somehow put them on the floor anyway. You know what I mean? It's a long process with that. But you do have a great effect because if you were in position, you were a state senator, you were a state senate representative or something, you could vote against that. Your vote would actually count even more than anybody else's because you're sitting there on the floor when these bills come to the floor to get voted on. If there's enough of you, you guys could shoot it right down real quick and it's dead. So again, it doesn't take much to run for office, for a local office. I mean, the state, yeah, lots of work. Federal, big time. But if you don't have much money or no money at all, it's nearly nothing at all, literally, to run for office in your local area. State representative, state senator, ward district, whatever, district and ward representatives, town council, city council, whatever the case. School board too, that's a big one. That's much needed. So yeah, just get involved, man. And so the two-party system could be beaten. Yeah, exactly. Jesse Ventura did that, and he showed how the two-party system can be beaten. But again, there's a lot of great Democrats. There's a lot of great Republicans. There really are. And again, it doesn't matter because if they're Republicans and Democrats, it doesn't mean they're bad. There's good people in these parties. And sometimes it depends where the district is. If you vote, if you run as anything else, you're not going to get in. And I know a few people who had to run as a Democrat, but they're not really Democrats. They had to run as a Democrat to get into office. So you just got to play the game. That's it. And again, this just reflects all of us. Our gun rates, our future. And people say, oh, I'm not going to get involved. I'm just going to sit here. And you're useless. Seriously. You're useless if you're not, if you care about if you don't care, that's fine. But if you care about your community, you want to be part of that community and make sure it's secure, you need to get involved somehow, some way. Doesn't matter you have to run for office or whatever. No, you could just say, all right, tell your friends and family, hey, we need to do something. Get meetings together and things like that, So other than that, I think, the message is clear. We need to really say, hey, we need to protect our liberties. And as far as the gun control, we're facing insurmountable tyranny in the state of Rhode Island. Last year, illegally, they pushed the gun control measures when no Rhode Island wanted it. Most Democrats didn't want it, and they pushed it through anyway, illegally. And now they're telling us if this bill passes this year, by December 31st, if we don't turn in our firearms, we're going to be illegal. We're going to be criminals. And you know what? So I guess January 1st of 2027, I'm going to be a known felon because I'm not giving up my guns. And like the sheriff said, and then when the gun legislation comes this year, which I think next month, when we have a chance to go before the committee meetings, at the State House to testify against these bills, this is what I'm going to bring up. Right? I'm going to bring up the Declaration of Independence, National Archives here. So this gives you the authority. Doesn't matter what your mayor and I know I get watched by criminals in our state house. I get watched by the state police here in Rhode Island and other agencies here in Rhode Island. So I know you're watching this. So this is what I'm going to tell your ass. All right. So Congress, July 4th, 1776. This gives we the people the power and authority to overthrow our governments if they don't do their job. We hold these truths self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights that among are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, guys, the governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That's us. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, that's right, and I hope the Rhode Island state government's listening. A criminal governor, the pedophiles, I should say, in the state senate and house and all that, that whenever any form of government, that's state or federal, becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people, that's right, the people, to alter or abolish it and institute a new government. Laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its power in such form. So it is the right of the people to abolish and change their government. And like I said, by pen or by force, we are not giving up our guns. And, I know some other gentlemen spoke out against that in X here in Rhode Island. And yeah, the state police knocked at his door, took his guns and everything else. He had illegal guns. He had ghost guns. He had high-capacity magazines. They are not illegal. You're illegal. Anybody that tells you need a permit to carry a firearm, tell them right there, plain and simple. The Constitution is your permit. Sorry for the gesture, but that's the way it is. The Constitution is your permit. You don't need their permission to own a high-capacity magazine, their permission to own a ghost gun. You tell them to stick it, plain and simple. I'll own what I want, much as I want, and there's not a damn thing you got to do about it. That's the attitude every gun owner, every American citizen, even the citizens that come into the State House. I don't know how many of these people came in and say, hey, listen, I'm not a gun owner. I don't own guns. I don't like guns. But I am here to support gun rights, and I'm here to shoot down this legislation because you can't tell people they can't own guns. It's their right to do that. And I've seen people do that. That's admirable. If you don't like a gun, it's fine. And I know some people in the chat probably doesn't either. You don't have to. But you should support the right that somebody can have one. Because firearms are liberty's teeth. And if you want to get biblical, I've done many shows on this. If you want to get biblical, how many times did God tell his people to take up arms and defend themselves? Israel would have never been a nation. Because you got the passive Christians today. Oh no, don't have a gun. Just sit there and pray about it. Somebody breaks into your home and goes to rape your family and kill them. Just pray about it. No, that's not what the Bible says. Then they'll misinterpret, oh, Jesus says to turn the other cheek. That's nothing to do with what he's talking about. If somebody's there violently attacking you and your family, it is your constitutional and your God-given duty by the Almighty to be a man and defend yourself and your family. You put that SOB in that place, plain and simple. If somebody comes to do harm to your children, if some agencies come in from the state or federal and say, we come here to take your rights, you take up arms and tell them to go to hell. That's our God-given American authority to do that and say that. So if anybody at the State House has got a problem with it, too damn bad. And like I say all the time, I don't know how many times I've been in those Senate committee rooms testifying before the Senate, or the House. And I'll tell them right now, 1776 will begin again if you come try to take our guns. We're not going to sit there and lay it, oh, yeah, here you go. I don't think so. The Declaration of Independence gives us the authority and the power to defend our rights. And the Second Amendment, which is part of the Bill of Rights, gives us that very power to do that. And in here in Rhode Island, we have the Second Amendment and Article 1, Section 22 of the Rhode Island State Constitution, the same thing. So don't let them make you feel like you're the criminal. No, they are the criminal. Anybody that imposes permits to, and here's the thing, the Second Amendment is not a second-class right. So if they make you get permits for the Second Amendment for your guns, right? They make you regulate your gun rights. So what's next? They're going to regulate your free speech. And they already tried to do that several times. Oh, you got a permit to have a rally here. On a state property, you have to permit to rally here. No, that's my First Amendment. I don't need your permit. I don't need a permission to exercise a right that I already have. Same thing, if you guys got a gun, don't turn it in. Tell them to go pound sand. I don't care if this bill passes or not. I speak for thousands of Rhode Islanders here in Rhode Island. We've already declared that. You pass these bills, it's not going to be nothing. You know what I mean? We're not going to turn our guns in. Hell no. You know what I mean? No, from my cold, dead hands. And we have these crumbs in the state of Rhode Island, guys. These crumbs. State Representative Jason Knight, Teresa Tanzi. Man, I could go right down the list with these jerks that sit there. They're psychological lunatics. They really are. They sit there and say, ooh, you should see how these people are. They're decrepit. They walk to the state house like they look like they're bat crap crazy, like psychos. And they have these whack jobs from Moms Demand Action come in, and these other gun groups like Gifford's or whatever, and these Connecticut groups and all that come in. Oh, the children. Oh, the children. They exploit dead kids to push gun control. But yet they're out there, like I said earlier, and when it comes to supporting abortion rights, they're salivating. We love the blood of children. We wanted abortion rights. And the first time when the abortion bill failed up to birth, they literally stormed the Senate room. Nobody got arrested. If we did that, forget it. We'd be known as terrorists all over the news. You know what I mean? And it was crazy, man. And but these people are demons. They don't care about you or nothing. All they care about is money and control. That's all it is about. And I'll call these people right out. I'm not gonna. I don't hide. Like the names I mentioned, Governor Daniel McKee. And his idiot dingbat lieutenant governor, she can barely speak English, and they appointed her as ridiculous. They want to defund police departments, most of these, but yet they run to the police to try to push their gun constitutional laws. And for the foremost, and I have to say, the Rhode Island State Police, okay, I have to commend most of those guys now, especially at the top. I mean, I'm not going to mention their names and all that because they're patriots. And I don't know how many times I had a captain or a lieutenant come up to me, and he's like, you don't got your camera on, right? And I'm like, no, I don't. And then he goes, listen, they shake my hand, say, dude, thank you so much for what you do. We don't have a voice. This is state police, like, officers. They tell me, we don't have a voice. Providence police do the same thing. Central Falls police, I mean, we meet police all the time. We see them at the range, we shoot with them and everything. They say the same thing. Thank you guys for doing what you're doing. And they said right out, it's like the day that the orders come that we have to go confiscate guns, we're going to defend the people. And you do got those group of officers and all that do anything they're told. They're a bunch of brown shirts. That's what they are. But, you know, I mean, do know that there is a lot of police on your side. There's a lot of military on your side. There was a survey that went through the military years ago during Obama that literally asking them, would you follow orders to disarm the American public? I think it was almost 80% of them said no. We would stand down. And that's why they trained foreign offshore troops here during the national level exercises of FEMA and everything, to gun confiscation and all that. So we need to, you know, be vigilant, guys, and we need to be firm, be peaceful. And I'm not ever saying to ever go shoot anything up or go intimidate somebody with a gun. No. I got guns. I can probably show a bunch of them right now. I'm not going to do that. And that's why they don't come get me. I don't know how many times I spoke viciously against these people, but not violent. Because we got to show we're men of peace, men and women of peace, and that's where we are. We don't want war. We don't want blood, nothing like that. But we're not going to give up our rights either. You know what I mean? That's what we need to show. Say, listen, we're going to stand our ground. Just like the people did in Lexington Concord back in April 19th, which is coming up, 1775. I hope to be there. I got invited to go there. There's a friend of mine who owns houses over there. They invited me to go stay there for the night. So I'm definitely going to take them up on that offer. So I'm going to go there and do a video on it. It's a reenactment battle of the first shot heard around the world And it's the same night where Paul Revere did the midnight ride, yelling at the British are coming and everything. So I'm going to go check that out. We're going to do live streaming there. That we need to really get this concept of what the spirit of Americans are. You know what I mean? Here in this country. Yeah, God number one and liberty number two. You can go right through the Library of Congress, guys, and find, I can't even tell you, countless. And don't the stupid conspiracy videos all over the YouTube. Just because somebody was a Freemason, it doesn't mean they were a bad person. Yes, George Washington was a Freemason. Absolutely. But at the time, Freemasonry here wasn't affected by the Illuminati. Yeah, I mean, I know people who are Freemasons. I'm trying to help them out of it, but they're good people, but most of them are just hoodwinked, you know. But these people cared about liberty. They cared about the country and God. And if you read some of Washington's stuff, guys, you would, if you didn't know any better, if you read the writings from George Washington, you would swear that this man was a pastor or something. Same thing with Thomas Paine. I don't know where the conspiracy with him got, but if you read The Rights of Man and Common Sense by Thomas Paine, he praises Jesus Christ more than most pastors. And I'm not saying all these founding fathers are Christians. No, a lot of them were deists and some people were into the occult, like Benjamin Franklin. But they were good patriots. Thomas Jefferson was a devout Christian into his latter years. So you just gotta, you know what I mean? And it's not even the point. It's the people that were here. The people who fought on the ground. Some of my relatives and everything. They knew, here's the thing. What would possess you? Seriously, go back in time in the 1700s. The British were like the best army in the world, the most armed army in the world. They were unbeatable. What would possess a person that's a store owner or a farmer or whatever? What would possess people to stand up against the biggest army in the world? What would possess that? That's suicide to most people. Why they did that for, guys? Because they had the Spirit of God. They knew the gospel. Go read the journals and, well, it's crazy. They had the gospel in their hearts. That with God, all things are possible. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. They knew the Bible. The 12-year-olds knew the Bible better than most adults today, even most pastors. These people weren't pusses. And I hate to use that term, but pusses. That's the way most Americans are today. They see an old lady get beat up, keep their heads down and keep walking. Instead of going over there and knocking those son of a bitches out. You know what I mean? That's what men of God should be doing. Stand your damn ground. Somebody's beating up a woman, you go over there and put them in their place. That's what God won't want you to do. You think the apostles, like Peter, he carried a sword. Joshua, Samson, you think they would do that today? Oh, do-de-do. We're going to go sit there and pray in our pew and allow this tyranny to go on. No, they'd be getting up bombs and going punching people in the face. That's what they would do. People lost the concept of what these, the men of God were like because of dispensationalism and pacifism. They lost the concept of what liberty was in this country. There's stuff going on. New York City, the other day they had a rally. Hundreds of Muslims screaming out, we're going to kill America. You think for 1 second, look at good Dearborn, Michigan, overrun by Muslims. You think for 1 second that would have been tolerated 100 years ago? They would have been ran out of this, they would have been dead, to tell you the truth. The American people, the people in the neighborhood, all got together and ran those clowns right out of here. They talk about, the other day a woman, she held her son down so the doctor could inject her with hormone treatment. Kids screaming and crying because she wanted him to be a girl. You know what happened to that girl 100 years ago? By the people? Yeah. I don't want to say it because it probably gets shut off. Yeah. Yeah, that's what happened. That's what should happen. It's time that Americans started getting some balls. Excuse my language. Get some courage. Stand the hell up. Stop being a puss. Oh, I'm not going to get involved. Ooh, I'm just getting my phone out. Ooh, old lady's getting beat up on the train by two punks. Instead of getting up and knocking those guys out. That's what you should be doing. That's what men of God should be doing. A Christian should be strong. to be able to defend his family physically, mentally, and spiritually. Not to sit there like a little wuss, like most guys today, that they hide behind the girls and the girls do the fighting. No, kick some ass. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Get aggressive. Take action. And in your community too, when you get these tyrants, these bastards in the state house, here in Rhode Island too, that say, oh, we're gonna teach your sixth graders how to masturbate and pleasure themselves. And we're going to support their hormone treatment and sex change operations. These faggots here in the state of Rhode Island, Brandon Bell and all these people, Senator Bell, and David Morales and all these clowns, these fags, literally, sitting there, they're going to mutilate kids' genitals and all that. 100 years ago, these people would have been tarred and feathered in public. These people are running around doing whatever the hell they want, and they're your children are next. If you don't stand up and do something now, man, I can't even say this enough, man. If you don't stand up and do something now, your children are next. You're next. Bunch of cowards, man, I tell you. And I can't, oh man, I could be here for hours talking about this. But a bunch of damn cowards, plain and simple. And it's just like, oh man. And yeah, they fought because their property was taken, income tax, business tax, individual tax, faith controlled. Yeah, they had a purpose and reason to fight. That's right, Daniel. You're right. My buddy Daniel that was on the broadcast here last month when he come up from Florida, we talked about this. And yeah, over 2%, 3% tax that we went to war over. That they wanted to control us from not being Christians and all that. They wanted to take our guns. We stood up and fought. We shot them. Right here in Rhode Island, the Gaspee, this was actually the real start of the revolution. Not the Lexington Green, but right here, we had a British ship that came in. It's called it's a famous battle called the sinking of the Gaspee. These British came in to try to enforce their way here in Rhode Island. What did we do? We shot their asses and burned their ship to the bottom of the water. Right here in Warwick, Rhode Island. Rhode Island, and I'm surprised, man, because and I think Rhode Island's waking up. I see it, I really do. Because Rhode Island has a history. A lot of people don't know about this. So Rhode Island has a history. We were the kings of rebellion against the British. We were the first ones to step up saying, no, we're not going to tolerate that crap. When Roger Williams formed Rhode Island, the state of Rhode Island, he said, we're not going to stand for British oppression. And we had a thing right on the top of the Rhode Island State House. It's a gold statue of a man, and it's called a Minuteman. So we had a law in the state of Rhode Island that every male person that's 16 years old and older, you had to have a firearm on you at all times. You had to carry a gun at all times. Because in the act of case the British came, it was called Minutemen. You had to be ready in minutes to defend the state of Rhode Island against the British, who wanted to take guns. They wanted to impose taxes on us. They wanted to suffocate our religious freedoms. They wanted to do all that stuff. And nope, it's like, nope, not here in Rhode Island. We're going to shoot your ass. We shot their asses. We sunk their ship and all that. Then over in Lexington Concord, not too much later, the British came to seize the guns out of the armory, the citizens' armory. Nope, they all got together and say, boom, you're not getting crap. That's the attitude we need to have. That's the spirit we need to have in this state and in this entire country. And watch how fast these communist little rat bastards put their tails between their legs and run the hell out of here. These communist scum. Michael Bloomberg. I met the guy in person. I confronted him. I got to show you that video sometime. But I confronted that little cockroach. On TV, they look like all mighty and all that, but they're little cockroaches. They are. Same thing with the state legislators in Rhode Island here. Bunch of little cocky, and when you see them in the hallways, it's so funny. They sit behind that podium like, oh yeah, oh Mr. Badass, yeah, I'm gonna take your goods. Yeah. But when you see these little cockroaches in person, or out in the streets, or in the hallways, they're like, they're decking like little rats. Tui Satan's like, I can't take the emotions. These other crackpots in the state house, crazy. I forgot her name. Oh man, she's got glasses. She's got a complete whack job. They're on medication. I mean, it's just crazy. And they said, yeah, we're gonna take the guns. We're gonna go against you. We're gonna. They made abortion up to birth legal now. It's disgusting. We're taking gun rights. We're gonna kill your babies. we're going to teach kids in school how to masturbate and play with themselves. Sick, disgusting, demonic pedophiles. That's what they are in Rhode Island. They protect pedophiles. They covered the 2 mass shootings up here in Rhode Island. One wore a dress, thinking he was a girl. They didn't mention it at all. No, it's not a transgender. Another clown shooting up Brown University, screaming Ali Akbar. Not once did they mention anything about that. And they didn't even find him. The guy ended up killing himself, whatever happened. But yeah, it's so criminal. But yeah, God forbid, if a Patriot was to go shoot, oh man, forget it. They would say, oh, he's a Patriot, Trump supporter, this, that, and the other thing. They would run it through the roof here in Rhode Island, all over the place. But, it's such a, mind job. Too many crazies in Rhode Island to remember. Yeah, exactly. And, hang on, let me pull this up here. So these are I want to call these cowards out. Giffords.org, Moms Demand Action, Every Town's a New Town. These spineless cowards in every town. Let's exploit dead kids to push gun control. And look, they're always in Connecticut, Target and Rhode Island. And I love meeting these people in Rhode Island, the state house. I say, get the hell out of my state. Go back to your push state, Connecticut. Get the hell out. You know what I mean? Giffords, Moms Demand Action and all that. And all these cowards, pure cowards. And the Coalition for Gun Control. Oh, I mean, these people are disgusting. Hang on, let me get the latest bill here. 2 days ago. Yeah, I'm trying to find the bill here. Hang on a second. Hold on a second. And they want to try to intimidate people. How dare you? How dare you say something? How dare you? But it's okay for them to sexualize our kids. Yeah, we had this rally, Rhode Island First. It was great. Had a bunch of great Patriot speakers there. It's my buddy Frank Ritchie there. And right here, I'm going to show you some good Patriot politicians. Justin Price, he's a state representative here in Rhode Island. Good friend of mine. He's a Patriot. Used to be the Oath Keepers and all that. And this is my state senator right here, Robert Cortacci. He's a real good friend of mine. Same thing here. Sherry Roberts, she's a state representative, real good friend of mine. And this kid here in the background, he runs Turning Point in Rhode Island. He goes to one of the Cranston schools. And good people. And Danielle, there's your buddy there. I forgot her name. I apologize. And some other Patriots there. I forgot what this group is called. Again, Elaine Polino, she's running for governor. And a good friend of mine as well. And right here is Elaine Morgan. She used to be my state representative where I lived, but she still is over there. And she's a great Patriot, good friend of mine as well. I helped her when she ran for Congress. And this is I forgot his name. Struggling Jennings here. I got to meet them. And Caitlin Curtis. So this is the famous band now. There's Paul Rihanna. There's a bunch of people here. Rhode Island First Rally. But let me get to the bill here. Hang on a second. It's my bloody pictures. Hang on one second. I post a lot. You never know how much to post until you actually look for something. Almost there. Hold on. There it is, right there. It's House Bill 8073. So I made this. The answer to H8073 is 1776. I mean, it's disgusting. This bill here basically saying that us Rhode Island's gun owners, if this passes, if this passes, come December 31st of 2026, if we do not turn in our AR-15s and pistols, semi-automatic pistols, we're going to be convicted. We're going to be felons. And I'm sorry for this, guys. I don't usually do these gestures and all that, but this is the message to all those people behind that bill, supporting that bill and voting for the bill. Right there. You're not getting crap. Now, I'm not even going to apologize. Right there to them. Seriously, man. And this doesn't mean F you either. This means it's just act of defiance. That's all exactly what that means. And that's what it is. And I'm not saying screw them or anything like that. I'm just saying this is act of defiance. Hell no, you're not taking nothing. And people need to be bold. And it's great. I've been doing that. Me and my buddy Daniel there, we've been going to the State House for years. And I remember I was probably the only one in there screaming at the top of my lungs at these people. You should see their faces. Oh, man. The fear of God in these faces in the Senate committee and all that. And they're like, oh, damn, and not speaking facts, the Constitution, and quoting the Founding Fathers and all that. They were afraid. You know what I mean? And I got yelled at by some people, whatever. You're too extreme. And all of a sudden, now every year, there's more and more people speaking out that way. Here's the thing. That's what I told these people in the Second Amendment Coalition. If everybody get up there, everyone, when it was time to speak, if they just really chew their asses out, tell it like it is, we wouldn't be in this situation right now. They would have the fear of God in them like they used to, and they should be. All politicians should have the fear of God in them like they did for hundreds of years. You don't realize back what we could have done hundreds of years ago. If there was this, we could have ran these people out, literally. Go into their offices, physically grab them, tar and feather them in public, and kick their asses right out, literally, physically. And if any of the police got in the way, we could do the same then, put them in their own handcuffs and replace them too. That's the way it should be. Any security police got in their way, you put them in their own handcuffs and replace their asses too and throw them in jail. By rights, by the Constitution, the people should be able to go into the State House or City Hall, whatever, or Town Hall, and remove whoever's committing treason, tar and feather them in public, and if anybody got in the way, you do the same to them. That's the spirit of liberty. That's the spirit of God, the fear of God in these people. But, a lot of people are just, I'll shut up. If we wouldn't be in this position right now, I wouldn't be here yelling and screaming at 10:30 at night. Oh, man. You know what I mean? Like, we wouldn't be in this position. We wouldn't have to be facing this if people had guts. But I'm glad we're having a shift in Rhode Island. A lot of people are standing out, speaking out, and some getting arrested for it. But you know what? They're martyrs because does that mean I'm going to shut up? No. I'm going to speak even louder now. That guy got arrested for whatever. Oh, he spoke up against the government. He said a Newport man, right? Yeah. This is stupid, man. So they make this guy look like a criminal, and unbelievable, because he spoke out against the government. So Newport man was arrested for posting anti-government things and making threats of violence, which they never posted what he actually said. Making threats of violence and make him look like a terrorist. Oh, look at that. And Channel 12 fake news here in Rhode Island. This is their article on it. Making him look like, oh my God, he's such a bad guy. Look at the bad guns he had. This is nothing. This is like a starter kit for anybody that owns guns. I mean, like most of us got 10 times more than this. But look, he's got a wrench. Oh my God, an assault wrench, chisel too, whatever that is. I forget what that's called. A knife. Oh my God, you better throw the book at him. Oh no, he's got high capacity magazines. Oh wow, this guy's such a terrorist. And just he spoke out against these gun control bills, and he had a ghost gun, a 3D printed gun. And and I'm gonna tell the ATF and anybody around. First of all, I don't use it. I don't trust them, to tell you. I'll be honest with you. 3D printed or ghost guns, unless it's tested. But if I wanted to own a 3D gun, I want to make a bunch of them. If I wanted to have a ghost gun, it's not a damn business. It's not a damn thing you're going to do about it. And you come arrest me, guess what? When they get out, I'm going to make 10 more. And I'll make 100 more. And I'll stop passing them out to people. You're not going to tell the American people that they can't own a gun that they made. You can't own a magazine that has more than 10 rounds. Go to hell. Seriously. And look at this poor guy. Like, they make him look like, oh, he's some kind of a Nazi terrorist. The post, he says, contained advocating for violence and strongly opposing both local and federal gun laws. State police said several posts included images and videos of Bidondi showing his firearms, which is nothing wrong with that, including a handgun that identified as a ghost gun. In these videos, he asserted that it was his right to possess illegal firearms. There's no such thing as an illegal firearm. His right to possess these firearms, and declared that if the federal and local authorities come to try to get it, come for me, and he would take action against them. And the state police said, "This is oh my God, they're a slave of our state. They're one of the slaves stand up and say we're going to defend our rights." Well, guess what? He speaks of all of us. So not only you have to go and arrest him, guys, you have to come arrest me and probably 100,000 other people to stay around. Yeah, right there. Seriously, man. And the thing is, he wasn't making threats. He didn't say he was going to kill anybody. That's why you guys didn't show the post. That's why he never showed the videos. He didn't make no damn threats. It's because you wanted to come make an example to try to intimidate the rest of us. That's what that's about. And all you did is piss us off. You think that's going to you just pissed off a sleeping giant. That's all you did. And we're going to stand our ground. We're going to defend our rights. So, yeah, you better start arresting everybody in the state just about. You better go to every gun club, arrest 100,000 people in Rhode Island that have guns. And you know what the fact of the matter is? I tell people all the time, man. The fact of the matter is they don't have an army big enough. If the people united together, got together, there's not even a U.S. Army could stop them. The American gun owners consists about roughly 80 to 100,000 people. And there's more than that. I mean, that's what's only on record. And we have more firearms, more power than all the armies in the world. China too. We'll put them all together in one army. We still outnumber and outgun them. That's what scares them, because communists don't want to be outnumbered. They don't want to be outgunned. And that's the formula of liberty. When you have a people that can defend themselves, yeah, they ain't going to take crap from you. They're not going to tolerate any tyranny. They're going to defend their kids and their home and their property and everything else and their families. That's what the communists don't want. So, and again, I'm not sitting here calling for violence at all. No, not at all. But, again, there's a line in the sand. You stand on the line either with George Washington here or on the line with Michael Bloomberg and these communist bastards. And you cross that line. The thing is, again, we're loving, peaceful people. You cross that line to come take our liberties, because taking our liberties is taking our lives, our livelihood, and everything that we own. Yeah. See what happens when you put the Patriots back against the wall. You're not going to like the results of that. I'm going to put it plain and blunt. And that goes the direct message to all the state officials in Rhode Island that are trying to take our rights away. And all the crumbs throughout the nation, the communist scumbags. You don't want this war, okay? Don't try what the British failed at. You will lose and lose tremendously bad. It wouldn't even be a day's war. Nobody wants war. God forbid that was ever happen. But we're just hoping and praying that the hand of God could intervene with this. And right now, as we speak, the Supreme Court is taking counsel on these things. They're ready to come down. And the Supreme Court said several times, any weapons ban basically is unconstitutional. I think it was Georgia. They're pushing to get the automatic weapons back. It doesn't matter if it's automatic or semi. It's your right to have it. So the courts are ready they're compiling all the cases together. They're ready to come down. And that's why the state, like Rhode Island, they're trying to hammer this stuff through before. But, and again, if the Supreme Court comes down, so even if it does pass, the Supreme Court will say, nope, unconstitutional. All those laws are null and void. So right now we're just hoping and praying that the Lord pushes this further and pushes this quicker with the Supreme Court. And good news about President Trump, the DOJ, they are trying to push the Supreme Court to rule on this quicker. Yeah, Pam Bondi, she's got, like people have mixed feelings about her. But one good thing she is doing, she is trying to get the Supreme Court to put an end to these high-capacity magazine bans and these rifle bans, all gun bans in general, and also trying to push constitutional carry. So we got 28 states in the United States that you don't need a permit to carry, and it should be all 50 states, 52. It should be all 50 states. Yeah, I mean, you should be able to carry a firearm without a permit. You know, it's disgusting that you have to have one. Give me a permit for something I already have a right for. So I have to have a permit to be a Christian? Do I have to have a permit to be part of the press? Do I have a permit to voice out like this? That'll come next. So why is the Second Amendment, out of all 10 amendments in the Bill of Rights, why is the Second Amendment the one that's targeted the most? Because without the second, you won't have the rest. That's why. Exactly why. Oops, I dropped something on the floor. Whatever. All right, guys, but I do get going. And Thursday night, we got a good show coming up on Biblical Warfare and Spiritual Warfare Friday. We got Stephanie, we call Army Girl. She's coming on talking about MK Ultra and everything else. So it's going to be a good broadcast. So other than that, guys, and I say this all the time, and liberty, liberty isn't free. You know what I mean? You need to pay the price of eternal vigilance. So like Thomas Jefferson said best, liberty is eternal vigilance. You can never let your guard down. The Bible teaches this very thing too in the spiritual realm. You can never let your guard down because there's demons out there attacking you physically and here in this case, through these legislators. They're demons. That's what they are. Pure, disgusting, vile people. Demonically possessed. You know what I mean? They are. And you got to be demonically possessed to sit there and tell you can't have a right to defend yourself. Then on top of it, I'm going to kill your kids. I'm going to teach your kids how to play with themselves and cut their penises off and have sex with their buddy that's the same sex. You got to be one demented, demonic son of a bitch. You really do. You got to be one. I'll shut up, man. I'll bite my tongue. And I apologize. I'm a Christian, but yeah, the flesh comes out a lot. Trust me when I tell you, especially when it comes to this stuff, man. And yeah, I'm gonna bite my tongue for what I really wanted to say. But these are demonic scum that we're dealing with. And you never give these people, you never compromise with these people. That's been the problem. That's why we're in this position, because we have people on our side that compromise with these people. You don't compromise with communists. You need to squish them out and kill them dead politically. Because they're a virus. They destroy liberty everywhere they go. Look at all the nations of the world. And right here, my little flag going on here, yeah, that'll be hate crime too. Because you're oppressed. Muslims don't like that. Oh, these people don't. I don't care what they like. This is my country. I'll put what I want, But anyway, whatever. I'm going to keep rambling on all night if I don't shut up. All right, guys. Love you all. We'll see you soon. And Jack Reed, and they are sequestered in title. But remember the SS, the papers, please. Yep. You driving down the street, be like, papers, please. Where you going? Where you come from? None of your business. And by the way, I mean, if you are driving, you do have to show your license. I guess it's part of the contract you sign when you do get a license. But the police have no authority or right to ask your passengers where they're going if you're walking down the street. Yeah, it's none of your business. You have an ID? Yeah, I do, but I'm not showing it to you. I did that many times. And I tell them, don't take it. It's not an attack against you personally. I'm just standing up for my little civil liberties. And a lot of cops actually respected that. Some get bent out of shape, but it's like, too bad. Don't like it, too bad. And just be respectful, that's all. It's like, I don't have to tell you that. Oh, where do you live? I'm sorry, I'm not going to show that. You have to show me your ID. No, I don't. No, there's no law to say that. This ain't Russia. Communist Russia, the old days. This ain't Nazi Germany. I don't have to show you. I don't have to tell you anything. And am I being detained? Nope, see you later. That's it. You know what I mean? That's it. You don't have to disclose where you're going or where you come from, who's in the car, everybody's names. No. You're not going to talk to any. When I worked for the group home years ago, I had 6 of the kids in the car with me. And we got pulled over because the cop said I was close from running a red light. It's like, sorry, I was in a position if I stopped, it would have caused an accident. So he goes, all right. But he goes, like, which name's in here? It's like, and I told you, was another cop asking. It's like, no, stop asking the names. I'm in charge of these kids. If you want to know the names, here's the center where it is. And I told the kids, don't answer one question. And one cop got pissed. But I'm like, too bad. They're under my protective custody. Don't like it, too bad. And that's the way it's going to go. If you want to know the names of these kids, it's confidential. You need to go to the group home where I work for, and you get the names under there. But other than that, you're not getting nobody's names, and not one of them are going to speak to you. You don't need to know anything about them. And I did that when I had passengers in my car too. It's like, I'm the driver, and yes, I signed the agreement when I got a license. So here's my license, here's my registration insurance. But respectfully, don't ask my passengers where they're going, where they come from, their names, or anything like that. It's none of your business. And if there's a problem, you get a supervisor over here and we'll deal with it then. They don't need to disclose where they're going or anything. This ain't Nazi Germany, So always be respectful when you do that stuff, and but firm too. You need to be firm but respectful. Don't be cocky, because then you get ripped out of the car and probably get your teeth smashed or something, But be respectful and let them know it's not a personal attack against you. It's just defending our civil liberties. I'm not hiding nothing. This is what we need to maintain order in this country to protect our rights, But when I get pulled over too, I'm respectful. I'll get pulled over in nighttime. I'll shut the vehicle off. I'll turn the lights on in the car, windows open, and I'll have my stuff ready. And the cops come, right? Because a lot of times, on the other hand, these cops deal with a lot of crap. And they'll come up to a car a lot of times, especially in Providence, Rhode Island. The windows, like, there's a tinted window, and it's like they roll down this much, and they don't know if they're gonna get shot or not, because we've got a lot of thugs in Providence. And the car's running and all that stuff. So cops automatically got his hand ready to shoot, But, when you do that stuff, you have the lights on and all that, be respectful there. Like, they feel more comfortable, Because I worked, I wasn't a police officer, but I did work, like armed security. And I'd been on, one of what's that thing called? The PAL program with the police years ago when I was younger. And I seen a lot of, crap that I was going to say the S word, that the cops go through, and it's bad. It really is. And a lot of people they encounter, they're just, wow, you would completely understand what these people go through. You know what I mean? And, so just, be playful. That's all. Even if the cops being a jerk. And the thing is, too, a lot of times the cops were jerks to me. When I was polite to them, right away, it de-escalated them. Then they end up apologizing for yelling and swearing, because the crap they got to deal with all the time, So to have that in consideration, But I don't know, we'll talk more about that some other time. And thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Thank you, Brother Bill. And guys, if you like the broadcast and whole ministry and our operation we got going on here, if you want to donate, we got a link in the chat room and also in the description of the video. Any donations go to the operation here. We love you guys so much. So God bless. Shalom. We'll see you Thursday, live, 7 p.m. Eastern. And you are the resistance. Defending liberty in the spirit of 1776. It's Dan Bidondi on TruthRadioShow.com.